So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to the International Conference on Early Childhood Education and Research being organized by ID Vines Foundation. Igniting Brains of Young Minds Foundation that works in 195 countries and has been working all around the world to educate the children on space and satellite technologies. And till now, it has reached more than 70 countries in uh, uh, reaching the education of space and technology, organizing workshops in different countries, and has crossed more than 1.5 lakh students around the world. And yes, it keeps on organizing wonderful conferences, one after the other. And today we are back with one more interesting and knowledge with I know one more interesting conference. I know that this conference is going to be another one that's full of knowledge, full of interaction, and full of inspiration. So I will second welcome all the speakers for this wonderful conference. And we'll be starting with yes, early childhood. We know that how important early childhood is. And yes, because it determines our future, how a child grows up, the kind of education, the kind of nurturing he receives during his childhood, it makes all his future. And this is one of the motives I will be discussing about the early childhood, how the education structure should be and how the nurturing should be. So yes, a lot of it is to be discussed, and I would not take much of your time because we know that yes, we'll be talking especially on research because we know that research can act to expand definition of what constitutes quality practice. So let's start with our speakers today, and I take this opportunity to invite the first speaker for the today's conference, Rania Lampa ma'am from Greece.
Greetings from Greece, Dr. Antum. Nice to see you always. You're an amazing host. I would like to congratulate IDNYM for all these amazing initiatives in the domain of education, promoting quality education worldwide, and of course, thank Dr. Ravi Shankar for his invitation. My topic today will be STEM in preschool education. Because the introduction of STEM to children in preschool sounds like something impossible, or at least not a good idea. The general consensus among educators seems better suited for older children who will be more attentive and more curious. In other words, a lot of people seem to think that younger children lack the attention span which is needed to deal with worksheet or activities, and therefore any attempt to introduce them to them will result in chaos. The truth about STEM in preschool, however, seems to be quite different from what educators believe. Children tend to find STEM activities. I can say this from my own experience. I'm working with schools, with children in children primary education. Children find STEM activities very engaging, and they approach them in a very curious, focused, and communicative manner. So simply put, these activities can maintain preschoolers' attention and engagement for way longer than the 45 minutes that the teaching hour typically lasts, simply because children find them to be very interesting and exciting. And this is because STEM activities introduce scientific concepts and teach children about math, for instance, by having them solve problems related to their everyday lives. I can describe to you a small example, wind project, which was conducted in a STEM lab. In order for children to find a STEM project interesting, it has first to address their curiosity. So in other words, it should focus on something that the children are already curious about. So when educators visited a preschool class and a STEM lab, they noticed that the children were very curious about the wind. So they carried out a STEM project that would help children understand basic concepts related to wind and aerodynamics, and even mathematical concepts such as distance and measuring. The project began with some basic observation and brainstorming. The teacher and the STEM educators took the children out of the classroom on a windy day and had them throw leaves up in the air and hold some colorful scarves up. Then teachers asked them to notice the way in which the leaves and the scarves moved and to make loud guesses as to why this happened. So the children were then led back into the classroom and they were asked to move a ball across a piece of cove molding. Cove molding is a type of trim found inside homes. It's generally this corner, the corner where the wall meets the ceiling. They were asked to move a ball across a cove molding just by blowing on it and note how far the ball would travel with each attempt. Then the students participated in two construction projects. First, they were asked to build sail cars using materials provided, and then they were asked to build tall structures. A fan was used on both projects to simulate wind. So each student built the sail car, and then they tried to see how far it could go with the aid of the wind generated by the fan. Throughout this activity, students would mark the progress with sticky notes. They could easily judge how far each car made it from the starting point, and they would even note when a fellow student wasn't started from the same starting point. So some students were very disappointed by the car's performance. For instance, started making progress to their design to make them travel faster. Those changes were mostly aimed at reducing weight, which means that students understood that a lighter car would travel further. When it comes to the fan, the children realized that the cars needed to be in front of the fan in order to move, and that they moved in the direction of the wind. So the teachers noticed that some students were having trouble getting the cars to move, and they asked them whether the air should be blowing toward the top or the bottom of the car. And children, after experimenting, understood that it would be better if the wind blew toward the bottom. And furthermore, through hints and experimentation, a lot of students understood that the bigger the surface of the sails, the further the cars would travel. For the structure building activity, the student worked in groups and tried to compete to see which group would bring the tallest structure that would withstand the wind generated by the fan. And the children used their hands to measure the height of its structure. They even made sure to exclude the base from the measurement process. They would measure only the objects that they themselves had started to construct the structures. So it didn't take them long to realize that structures that were wider at the base seemed to be more resistant to the power of the wind. Throughout all these activities, students were presented, of course, with problems, and they worked to solve them. They experimented, they persevered, they never gave up. STEM is always about the problem solving. They started to make changes in their designs, essentially changing the way they were handling the problem. For example, say that they took weight off the cars to see if they could travel faster. And once they saw that weight reduction did indeed have a positive effect, they adjusted their designs accordingly. And during the structure building activity, students would not get discouraged by the fact that their structures were getting blown down by the wind. They would not ask the teachers for help, but they did turn to other groups. It's very important and all together they observed and discussed their approach to the problem. So in other words, they worked as a team. So basically, the students here experimented, observed, collected data, and then used this data to solve the problem they were presented with. Here, when it comes to mathematical concepts, the activities familiarize students in a fun way with concepts such as height, weight, distance, as well as spatial awareness. Students did some basic quantitative reasoning. For example, one student understood that there were too many pipe cleaners on his sail car design, so he started moving some of them, realizing that the fewer pipe cleaners, the further the car would travel. The student didn't know how to count, but he did realize that he had too much of something and therefore he needed to subtract from it. Through these activities, we can see 5 different ways of thinking that actually characterizes children of this age. First of all, we talk about curious thinking. Curious thinking, when a student is inquisitive, is eager to observe, learn, and explore. Second is persistent thinking. The students keep on working in order to achieve a certain goal and won't stop working until this goal is achieved, no matter the obstacles. Third is what we call flexible thinking. The student is willing and able to change the way he has been approaching a problem or is trying to imitate solutions implemented by his fellow students. Fourth, what we call reflective thinking, when a student can explain the design and implementation process of his design. In other words, they can explain the features of their design and their intended purpose, as well as the reason they were chosen. And then finally, collaborative thinking, because the student is open to communicating and cooperating with other students or group of students. And you know that when we talk about these students of preschool age, there's a case of misconception, because a number of studies show that preschoolers use their intuitions to explain physics, math, and natural phenomena. And this can lead, of course, the creation of certain misconceptions. For instance, when it comes to the concept of magnets and magnetism, preschool students seem to understand that magnets pull other magnets and metallic objects towards them. However, they think that they can do this due to an invisible force, and they also seem to think that the larger a magnet is, the stronger it's the pull. So they use this term gluing to refer to the ability of magnets to stick onto metal surfaces and onto other magnets. And finally, the children at this age, they seem not to understand that magnets have two poles and the effect of each of those poles. So in other words, they seem to understand that magnets are only capable of pulling objects towards them and not of pushing them away. When we talk about STEM here, STEM project activities can actually help preschool students, according to research, to get a better grasp of complex and abstract concepts such as magnets without the formation of misconceptions. Apart from this, there are many, we talked about STEM activities, but also the role of visualization is important, because according to studies, children of 48 to 72 months old can communicate very effectively by drawing pictures, and they can convey more details than drawing than with verbal communication. Other studies have shown that preschoolers tend to recall their experiences and assimilate the newly acquired knowledge better through drawing. And also, research shows that children aged 4 to 6 years old can learn easier and more efficiently by drawing pictures and then explain the drawings. So young children are able to express what they know, what they have learned in greater detail when drawing than when they try to do so in a verbal manner. This means that we need specially designed picture books that can be used as tools for teaching preschool-age children. For instance, we talk about magnets or magnetism, because these picture books can increase their factual, conceptual knowledge and provide them with the opportunity to accurately express or depict their scientific answers by drawing pictures. Of course, when we talk about mathematical concepts should be incorporated into STEM education for preschoolers, both in verbal and visual manner. Someone could talk about the technology or digital tools. The use of tablet apps and games for educational purpose with preschool children is actually a much debated subject. Because according to studies, educational tablet games focused on a certain subject can have positive results, of course, but there are many other studies who show that these video games and apps, even if they are educational, preschool children will focus on playing the game and become less inquisitive. So in other words, tablet games may be fun and engaging, but they seem to monopolize the interest of the student and actually distract them from the learning process. We have all these tools or these strategies that we can use with the preschool children. STEM activities, we talk about STEM, especially those activities that involve designing and building something can definitely improve cognitive skills and engineering skills. So the key takeaway of my presentation is that holistic, interdisciplinary approaches and the transdisciplinary approaches such as STEM in preschool are very important, should be implemented in greater scale since they can help preschool children acquire and develop 21st century skills. Thank you very much. For any question, I'm here for you to discuss.
Yeah, thank you. That was really great to know. And especially as you were talking about the STEM education, especially at the preschool level. Of course, we know that at the preschool level, it is a stage where all the lifelong learning. We are actually preparing them for the lifelong learning. And we were talking about how we can be conducting the STEM activities at the preschool level, and they can communicate with the help of the pictures. Actually, yes, that is a very good concept. Yes, and nowadays for the students at the early education or the preschool level, we can say there are people are coming up with picture books, because we know that the students can understand with the help of the pictures. They can't understand something that is written. So that was really a very great concept. And everywhere in every conference they see, you always use your knowledge, and it is very knowledgeable. All your talks are very knowledgeable, and you talk about how, especially because you're related to STEM education, you present it very beautifully. So thanks for the beautiful presentation, and thanks for joining with us. That was really a great presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Anjum. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And so, my dear friends, you were listening to Rania Lampo, ma'am from Greece. And let me take this opportunity to invite our next speaker, Dr. Kelkuala from Kelkula Nashua. Ma'am, are you there? Sorry, I'm not
Yes.
announced the name.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Can you just switch on your video?
I don't know if it's working because I even want to share my screen
Okay, okay.
because I prepared a PowerPoint presentation and I would like to share it with you.
Okay, please go ahead.
Just 1 minute, okay? Okay. Oh, no. Dr. Anjum, would you please move to the next speaker? I fix my problem and get back to you. Is it possible? Hello? Do you hear me? Dr. Anjum? She's not listening. Hello? Is anyone here?
Yes, I can hear your voice, but I think Dr. Anjum got some technical glitches because it was freezing.
Because I have a problem with my screen. I cannot share it. I don't know why. Can I just like present like this without a screen?
Well, Dr. Anjum maybe will join back to the Zoom again because probably there is technical issues.
Yes.
So we
Okay,
are,
I will start.
Yeah, I think you should go ahead, Hannah.
yes, I think it's okay.
Shall I start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. So good morning or good evening or good afternoon, everyone. I don't know what time is it in each one's country. I am Dr. Nashwa Kelkula from Algeria. For those who do not know Algeria, it is in South Africa. It is located in South Africa. And I am teaching at university. I'm a teacher at university. My presentation is entitled, because we're talking about early children education, my presentation is entitled How to Raise a Multilingual Child. So here is the outline of my presentation. We start with defining multilingualism. Then we talk about the benefits of being a multilingual. We dispel some myths related to multilingualism. We talk about some strategies to help raise a multilingual child. Then we finish with a conclusion. So what is multilingualism? Multilingualism is broader than many people think. It is a complex phenomenon that can be studied from different perspectives in disciplines such as linguistics, psycholinguistics, sociolinguistics, and even education. A multilingual person is someone who regularly uses 2 or more languages or dialects in their everyday lives. For example, here in my country, Algeria, we speak French and we speak Arabic. Most of people here are bilinguals because we have more than just one language, which is Arabic. So we speak Arabic and we mix it with French and sometimes English. According to Lai, a multilingual individual is anyone who can communicate in more than one language, be it active through speaking and writing or passive through listening and reading. A well-known definition of multilingualism is given by the European Commission as the ability of societies, institutions, groups, and individuals to engage on a regular basis with more than one language in their day-to-day lives. So what are the benefits of multilingualism? We have many advantages of being a multilingual person, especially for children. The first benefit is communication skills. You know, research shows that exposure to multiple languages enhances communication skills, as illustrated in a study by Lieberman et al. Children growing up in a multilingual environment were better at understanding other people's perspectives, a driver for good communication. Multilingualism can also bring heightened sensitivity toward cultural awareness. Speaking different languages makes you more open to dialogue with other cultures and allows you to talk directly to people from other countries and backgrounds, which improves intercultural communication skills. And why did I choose this topic is because I have a daughter who is 4 years old, and she speaks three different languages, namely Arabic, French, English, and they want her to learn as many languages as she can, because as they say, to have another language is to possess a second soul. So I wish that parents, or if we have parents here with us, I wish they teach their children to learn many languages as they can. Okay, now we move to the second benefit, personality. You know, multilingual children tend to be more tolerant and show a higher level of confidence. We have also the cognitive advantages, such as developing strong thinking skills. They learn how to use logic. They focus more. They are problem solvers, critical thinkers, etc. Now we move to the educational success. Here, children, they tend to be more creative and to focus and have an innate potential for multitasking activities. Okay, we move to the next point, which is myths related to multilingualism. Here we learn many people saying that when a child speaks more than 2 languages, it is bad for him or for her, and it's something I don't know, it's something seen as dangerous maybe for the children, but no, it's not. You know, we talk about the first myth. They say that having more than one language can cause a language delay. Did you ask yourself one day this question: will my child be delayed if I expose them to different languages at home? I'm pretty sure that each mom who has children has asked this question before, but the answer is there is no delay. Don't be afraid of this, please. They will have instead they will have more many words restored in their brain, and which will help them later on as they grow up. The second myth is that children get confused when they learn more than language. No, it is wrong. Children do not get confused when they learn more than one language, be it a sign language or spoken language. They can learn multiple languages, and they can pick up up to 4 languages. Okay. We move to the next point. Should we mix languages in our home? It's okay to mix languages. For example, I'm talking about myself. With my daughter, I speak some Arabic and I speak some French, and I speak, because I'm a teacher in English, I speak English. And I never get like, I'm not afraid of this mixing thing, because I know that in the brain of my daughter, each language is works alone. And when once she grows up, she will make the difference between the languages. Don't be afraid. They will know each language and how it works. Okay. Yes. So I said it's okay to mix languages, and part of being multilingual is being able to weave through using languages in different situations, registers. Believe me, it's a beautiful thing. Final myth is that I shouldn't speak my language. No, it's wrong. You should, you say that I should not speak my language. I should only speak, for example, English, so that my child learns it. No, you should speak whatever language you are most comfortable with. Don't be afraid of languages. Okay, now I move to the strategies, how to choose the right strategy for our children. Here I provided just 5 strategies, and we have many other strategies. We have the OPAL strategy, one person, one language. We have the MLH strategy, which is called minority language at home. We have the TP strategy, time and place strategy. We have 2 parents, 2 languages strategy. We have multilingual siblings, and so many other strategies. I go into details to explain each strategy, and maybe you can use one with your children if you tend to raise bilingual or multilingual children, of course. So the first one is called the one person, one language strategy. Here it means that each parent, for example, me, I'm her mom, I speak one language, and the dad speaks and her father speaks another language. So it means that each parent speaks a different language with the child. For example, as her mother, I am her mother, I speak French with her, but her dad prefers to speak, for example, Arabic. So you see, here we have 2 different languages spoken with the child. So each person here selects the language they are comfortable with and talks only this language with the child in one situation. We move to the second strategy, which is called minority language home. Here it means that both parents, me and her father, speak the same minority language at home. The minority language becomes the family language in all situations. If you, for example, pick Arabic, so I speak Arabic with my child, her father speaks Arabic in all. Okay, now we move to the third strategy, which is called the time and space strategy. Here it focuses on an agreed schedule where the parents and children will decide to speak different languages depending either on the time or on the place, or both. We move to the fourth strategy, which is called the 2 parents, 2 languages. Here adopted by parents who speak 2 languages and decide to speak both of them with children. For example, I speak Arabic with my child, and her father speaks French. So here we have 2 different languages. And the last strategy is called sibling language. Here the choice is ultimately up to the children, not to us, as if it is a secret language between siblings. Okay. Now we move to a conclusion. I would say here is a beautiful message for every parent who wants to raise a bilingual or a multilingual child. Please, it is never too late to raise your children to become bilingual or multilingual. And I wish, like many parents around the world, were obsessed with raising children to become bilinguals or multilinguals. Thank you everyone for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you. That was really a very great talk. And yes, as you were talking about being multilingual, yes, that is actually very beneficial. And of course, when as we are talking about early childhood, because they are able to learn the languages, they are able to grasp the languages very well compared to the adults. And at the childhood, if they are exposed to so many languages, so many different
Yes.
languages, of course, they can be,
Mhm.
learning those languages and also communicating with others. So that is really a very good thing, very good concept that you presented amongst us. Thank you for this wonderful presentation, this wonderful talk.
You're welcome, dear doctor.
And we would like to have more such presentations from you in the future. So be with us. And,
Yes, sure. I will always be with you.
And with this, I would like to call upon our next speaker, Dr. Revati ma'am, Dr. Revati Rautrao ma'am. Dr. Revati ma'am, are you there? Dr. Revati ma'am? I think she's not there at the moment. So I take this opportunity to invite our next speaker, Dr. Patricia Ngode ma'am from Zimbabwe.
Thank you so much. I would like to share my screen. It's okay. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, participants and viewers across the globe. Thank you so much, IDYM, for giving me this opportunity to be sharing with you today on early childhood education and research. As we all know that early childhood education it refers mainly to children who are in my country, for example, we have 9 years of primary school education, but the first 2 years, which is from 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years, grade 1s and grade 2s. That's what we refer to early childhood education for children from birth to 8 years old. But in my school, we take from 3 years old for our ECD program. So I'm just going to take you through what we do here. As we all know that with early childhood education, this is the first education that we give our children, especially in our curriculum when they leave home and they come to join us at our schools. That's when we, in my school, where we start with the early childhood education. And we all know that it is very important, especially in early childhood education, to have what we call play-based learning, because it is a very crucial component of ECD. Why is it crucial? Because it supports the child's cognitive, social, and emotional and physical development. And how do we do that in terms of play-based education? I think in my program, those are children who are in ECDA. We call ECDA those children who are 4 years old, and they still have 1 year before they go to grade 1. So we use blocks and building materials so that we encourage the construction and engineering skills. That's where we impart those skills. We are looking at gross motor, we are looking at fine motor skills here, which we want to impart to our children. And as you can see on the other diagram, an ECD Play Learning Center should be something that is very colorful and whereby you can include your children as well to grow plants, to water them. They can also they can also paint as well. We are teaching them fine motor skills. If you look at that diagram, we can see the girl playing with building blocks. That is why I am saying that play-based education is very, very important, because it trains them as well, those fine motor skills. On the other picture, you can see that our children are playing. Play-based learning is very important in the fact that we encourage our children to explore. You can see that they've got dolls. On Monday, sometimes they bring some play, some dolls, then they can have what we call show and tell other children what they were doing during the weekend, where did they go, or they can tell their friends what their doll is, what do they do with it. By then, we are developing social and emotional skills. So play-based learning provides those opportunities for children to develop social and emotional skills. For example, communicating. The child is communicating that I play with my doll and it has got a name, maybe it's Chipo, and such as, and also there's empathy. Maybe a child can portray that empathy. Oh, my doll, today I left my doll, it's not feeling well. It's already portraying empathy and self-regulation. So through play, children learn how to share. They also learn how to take turns, for example, standing in front and talking to their teacher about what they were doing during the weekend, or they are talking about their doll. They also learn how to negotiate with others. Can I use your doll? Can I play with it? And also to resolve conflicts, because they also fight for those the toys that they bring. So we can say that play-based learning, it enhances their cognitive development because it promotes them, for example, critical thinking. They have to think what they did, how they are going to say it, and also it promotes creativity. If you also see on our screen, we have so much that we offer in terms of culture. For example, we've got what we call the carnival. Children come and portray different characters through dramatic play and the use of, they use costumes, they use props. If you look at the costumes that they are using, the props that they are using, the props that they are using, some of them are educative. For example, we are teaching phonetic, they are learning. And if you are looking also at that other picture, showing that they also, it fosters the language development, and it also builds positive attitudes towards learning. If we make the learning fun for our children, engaged in activities that are fun, activities that are enjoyable, and this sets a very good foundation for lifelong learning. So when we are teaching our children as well, moving on, we also use Play-Doh. This we also want to develop their fine motor skills as well. And then artwork, like what Rania also explained, that they also use artwork. We are developing their fine motor skills. Sometimes they want to make things that they use at home. If you look at Austin, made some McDonald's chips and so on. So that's we are developing their sensory tactile skills as well. That's early childhood education. Then the role of parents. Parents should be involved in their children's learning, and also caregivers, because they play a very critical role in supporting their children's early learning. Let's not subcontract our parenting skills, but let's involve parents, and teachers can also use a variety of tools to help our parents and caregivers, so that they get involved in their children's education. Then I'm moving fast because we have some people also want to present. Then children also playing with the sand. You can see that sand, and maybe those sand dunes, encourage that sensory exploration that I was talking about. So that we are trying to develop our children's fine motor skills. And then we teach our children as well to do project-based learning as early as ECD, whereby they also go and make some projects at home and they come and present something to appeal with animals, plant life, and so forth, science topics, technology topics. They also go, it's engaging for them. Then we also have the impact of technology on early childhood education, because we all see that technology is a valuable tool for supporting our children. So you see our children there at my school, as early as ECD, 3 years, 4 years, they are exposed to technology, they play games, they do programming, and also the game Scratch as well. So teachers can also use a variety of tools to integrate technology in their classroom. For example, the interactive whiteboard there, you can see the teacher in the class there with the interactive whiteboard to support wall group instructions where children are being taught to do some exercises whilst they are looking at the board, and then making use of digital cameras and recording devices to document our children's learning and encourage self-reflection, sometimes self-assessment. I was quite happy when the former speaker talked about multilingualism. We also, at our school, it's a Portuguese school, so our children learn Portuguese as early as ECD. Yes, I'm from Zimbabwe. Our official language is English. They also learn their mother language, which is Shona. Then they also learn a third language at ECD level. So learning a second language or an additional language in early childhood. It has numerous benefits. For example, the former speaker talked about improving cognitive flexibility, enhancing social and cultural awareness. Just last week, we are having Africa Day, whereby we're celebrating Zimbabwe's 16 indigenous languages. In our ECD, also education children were involved. So teachers can use a variety of tools to support bilingualism in their classroom. For example, bilingual books and materials that are available in both English and the child's home language, and also language immersion programs. Sorry, someone is that provide opportunities for children to use their home language. Then we can also use language lessons.
Someone is talking. We can't hear you, Patricia.
Yes, someone is talking. I don't know who it is. Maybe
MD Kamal, please just mute yourself.
All right. So I was talking about learning another language, like what the former speaker said. I think she explained very well. Then we also teach our children life skills education. We have what we call Fun Friday, whereby our children can also make some sandwiches. They can also go for field trips whereby they are taught how to make pizza. So, or there are so many things that they also learn. We are trying to impart life skills so that that can help them in life. And then we teach them also about social responsibility programs. You can see that girl who has planted some crops. We also teach them, we also incorporate also SDG climate action number 13, and our children go for cleanup campaigns. We teach them how to use the coded bins, so many things. So we can teach our children at an early age to support, and then lastly, positive behavior support systems, also social skills. If we look at our children, learning should be fun. That was Easter egg hunt. During Easter egg, they go for Easter egg hunt. There are so many skills that they are learning: negotiation, collaboration, and also critical thinking skills. I think so we should make sure that our early childhood education is fun. And lastly, we also take our children for a field trip, learning outside the classroom as early as ECD. You can see there, and also take care of, by the way we said we want to teach them social skills. We want also to teach them empathy, all those values and ethos, depending on what your mission statement says. So that's all I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for giving me this time to share with you what we can do with our ECD children.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. That was really a great talk.
শোনা
Before that, Mr. MD Kamal, can you please mute yourself? Elizabeth, ma'am, I would like to nextly call Elizabeth, ma'am, from Mexico.
Hi, good evening.
Ma'am, just one request to you, because I just logged on from the meeting due to there was some network issues. I was the host. So by default, you are the host now of the meeting. So please make me the co-host, because we can see the people who are
participant,
disturbing.
start video,
see this
chat,
person.
reactions.
I'm not able to mute him.
Share, caption, more.
You just mute him now and make me the co-host.
কই ভাই যা কই
Okay, now I can hear because I was talking to two persons at the same time. I can understand nothing. Sorry.
Yeah. Ma'am, you are the host of the Zoom meeting. Can you make me the co-host?
Oh, 1 minute, please. No, I haven't.
Okay, you continue.
Okay, can I start?
Normally, the host can mute the
কমেন্টটা ই করে দেবেন নোটিশ দিয়ে দেবেন ম্যাডাম চালাই
Mr. MD Kamal, can you please unmute yourself, because we can hear your voice while the other speaker is talking.
Yes, Elizabeth, ma'am, you can go ahead now.
Thank you. I will share with you. Good evening, everybody. I am very happy to enjoy with you this topic, because I think that it's very interesting, and it's I think the same important that all our topics that we talk each week. But in this case, we are talking about these kids that are so small. They are so special because they need all the help possible. Yes, we can talk about this, about the transversal competence, a lot of things that I can listen with another speakers, and all this is very interesting. Of course, all this is very important. If we start to talk about the pedagogical activities, we can know that they have to play the first. I think that not only in this age, in all the age, we have to play. Yes. If you have 2 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, we have to play, because playing, we can be happy and we can learn all the time. But well, in this case, it's very important. And which more they can explore, move, express myself, they can learn, they can to have a lot of experience, act and participate. It's good, and all this is very important. Yeah. And why? Because they are children that have curious activities and competent learners. One kid have to do this all the time. Yes, and they can start to work in the same, let's say, or a speaker before than me, about the language, about the motor skills, numeracy, personal, social, and emotional development. Here is when I would like stop 1 minute, because if we are talking about the personal, social, and emotional development, we are talking, the first school is the family, the school. Yes, the parents, the sister, the brother, and what happened in each house. I think that all we are teachers in different levels, but I think that we know that all how is each student, all these they start to learn in home, with the family, with the parents. And after this, they can come to the school and teach all that they has been learned in this in home. Then what is so important, I always talk with my friends, with the parents, when I have a conference with parents, with another teachers, and with the students too. We need to be very, very careful in our home, yes, each one, because all that we can teach to one kid, they come and reply in the school. But maybe we can teach good things, values, perseverance, to be these emotional skills very strong, or maybe no, maybe they are living in a very hard context inside the family. And then what happened with them? We can say that we can to have good students that can understand and that can learn all that we would like that they learn. If we are not sure that they are in a good context, they feel comfortable with your family, with the parents, with all the people that will be around his family. And what can we do? How I think that we are a very sure example that how was our childhood. What happened with each one of us? What happened with our students? What happened in the kindergarten, in the elementary school, in the secondary school? All this is a long way that what is happening in each home, inside each family. Then I think that before we can talk with all this, and it's very, very important, I'm sure, because it's part of all this education with the kids, with the students. But I think that we first have to think in the family. I think that we first, and I always say the same, we have to work very close with the parents. We need to know what is happening with the mother, with the father, with the sister, with the brother, because all this can help, or they can damage to the kid. Yes. Then I found a lot of parents. Unfortunately, I found a lot of parents, and they told me, no, I can't teach to my son. I can't teach to my daughter. She never helped me. She always say no. She always is fighting with me. I don't know what can I do. Okay, but how is the communication with your children? Yeah, with your daughter, with your son. Why you can connect for talk, for do all good in comfortable context, then the students can feel good. Yes, with his mother, his father. What are we doing when we start to work more? Because I am sure in a lot of countries that I am talking the same all the time. We need all the time talk with the parents, be very close to the parents, and all the time remember to the parents, the children, it's a very small person that need a lot of love, a lot of comprehension, a lot of security. They need all the good that we can give for them. Why? Because after this, these children can share the same to another children. Yeah, maybe I live in my home. My parents love it to me a lot. My son, my brother, my sister. I feel very happy and very comfortable in my home. If I find another students and he don't feel so good because his context is not the same than the mine, I can help them. Each children can help to another children to feel better. But the first is that these children feel good, feel happy. And when we feel happy, yeah, we can learn all this that we are talking. We can share all this that we can understand, we can help, we can do a lot of things. Then my idea here, my principal idea is this. We need to be very close to the parents. I know that a lot of parents don't have the time, or they are not so interested, or they only say no. But we need to find the way then we need that they understand how many important are for the children, then they feel happy, then they feel that his parents love them. After this, we can talk with all this. And we can start to work with math, science, humanities, language. They can start to discover the world, this part of the personal, social, and emotional development. The kids will be very strong. Yeah, because he's a very happy children. They are happy, they feel good, they can learn all this. Then, in this case, I invite you to try to do it. If we can do it, if we can talk, if we can give some conference for parents, if we can talk with parents, this is very important. We need that the parents understand this big responsibility that they have with the children. Okay, okay, this will be all. Thank you very much. I don't know if somebody have a question.
Yeah, thank you. That was really a great presentation, ma'am. And yes, of course, as you told, that the children are curious, active, and competent learners. And it was really a great talk where you were even discussing about how the parents should be behaving and how the parents can cooperate for the learning at the very early age. And the graph that you are presenting, this is really a great one. And yes, of course, you talked about the languages and how the personal, social, and emotional development of the children at a very early age can be done. So thank you for joining with us and sharing your knowledge with us. So with this, I would
thank
like
you.
to call, thank you, ma'am. I would like to call upon our next speaker, Hadiana Dewi Nurfika, ma'am, from Indonesia.
Hello, good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone. First of all, as always, thank you so much for the organizer, IDYM, and our host today, Dr. Anjum. So we have heard amazing explanation from previous speakers in this special conference. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here today as an educator and advocate for emotional intelligence, especially in early childhood care education, because I firmly believe that the foundation we built during this crucial years shape the trajectory of child's life. So today I want to specifically share 13 key points on the significance of early childhood care education and integration of emotional intelligence in fostering and nurturing, empowering environments. So the first thing that we have to do as an educator is we have to consider about the power of connection. Because imagine a classroom where a teacher greets each child at the door with a warm smile, a kind word, and a genuine interest in their lives. So throughout the day, the teacher takes the time to have meaningful conversation, actively listen to the children's stories, and values their thoughts and opinions. So this positive connection can build trust and create an environment where children feel seen, heard, and valued, and of course, empowering them to thrive. Next is social and emotional learning. So in the classroom, educators or teacher can integrate social and emotional learning into our daily routines and activities. For example, during circle time, we engage in discussion about emotions, and we can ask questions like, how do you feel today and why? So we encourage children to express their emotions freely and validate their experiences. And we also incorporate cooperative games that require teamwork, problem solving, and communication skills, like Dr. Patricia already mentioned before, because it can foster their ability to navigate relationship and make responsible decisions. Next, we also need to consider about emotional literacy. So to promote emotional literacy, we can create a feelings chart displaying various emotions and their corresponding facial expression. We can also read stories that explore different emotions and discuss like how the characters might be feeling. For example, when reading a book like The Giving Tree, we can ask the children to identify the emotions experienced by both the tree and the boy. So through any kind of discussion, we can help children develop a vocabulary to express their own emotion effectively, because sometimes even adults, they might feel something, but they just don't know what it is. So we have to teach them since their early age what kind of the things that they actually feel, so they can express it later, because these things are really important, especially later in their adulthood. So next is self-awareness. So in the classroom, we can dedicate a reflection corner where children can spend a few moments each day to check in with their emotions. We guide them to identify their feelings and provide prompts such as, what made you feel proud today? Or what was challenging for you today? So by teaching them to encourage self-reflection, we foster self-awareness and help children become more attuned to their emotional states and needs. And later in their adulthood, this will really help them in the challenging situations. So it's really important to teach such a kind of these things since the early age. Next is empathy. Like the previous speakers already mentioned about it. So to nurture empathy, we can incorporate activities that encourage children to understand others' perspective. For instance, like during story time, we read books featuring characters from diverse backgrounds, for example, and discuss how they might be feeling in different situations. So we can also engage in role-playing scenarios where children take turns being the person in need of support, or through these experiences, the children can learn, consider others' feeling, and develop empathy and also compassion. Next is emotional regulation. So in the classroom or even in the outdoor, we can teach the children various strategies for emotional regulation. Like we have calming corner, like I have mentioned, and we can equip with the sensory tools such as a stress ball or soft blankets where children can retreat when they need a moment to calm. Or we also, if it's too much or if it's difficult to do, we can try to help them to make a practice deep breathing exercise together, because I know like in some places maybe it's difficult to make like calm corner because of the space in the classroom or something like that. But if you can make a corner space for the calmness, you can teach them deep breathing exercise together, because this thing can help children to regulate their emotions in moments of stress or frustration. And by providing the tool and techniques like this, we can empower children to manage their emotion effectively. Next is problem-solving skills. So to cultivate problem-solving skills, we can engage children in real-life scenarios that require critical thinking. For example, like During block building activities, we encourage children to work together to construct a stable structure, right? So when there's challenges arise, we guide them to brainstorm solution, like evaluate their effectiveness and also adjust their approach if needed. So through this kind of experiences that they will have, the children can learn to preserve and think creatively and also collaborate to solve problems, because they can engage with another peers or another students, and it can really brainstorm their brain, like how can we solve this thing. Next is the other important thing, mindfulness and relaxation. Many people might think kids don't need that, but actually not true. They need it even in early age. So for example, in the classroom, like we can dedicate few minutes each day to practice mindfulness and relaxation. So we got children in simple mindfulness exercise, such as focusing on their breath, or maybe simple noticing the sensation in their body. So we can also incorporate relaxation techniques such as guided imagery or progressive muscle relaxation, or we might simply say like something like, imagine you are lying on a soft, fluffy cloud, and with each breath, you feel yourself becoming more relaxed and calm. So by engaging this thing in the practice, especially in daily situation, the children can learn to center themselves, reduce the stress, and of course, cultivate a sense of inner peace. Next, the other important thing is positive discipline. So in the classroom, we can approach discipline with a focus on teaching and guidance rather than punishment. I think in many countries, even in my own countries, Indonesia, like some educators or teachers, they tend to give punishment rather than make or give a guidance when there's a mistake or maybe there's a problem between the students. So we have to believe in creating a nurturing and respectful environment where children can learn from their action and consequences. So for example, if a conflict arises between two children or even more, we can facilitate a calm discussion, like allowing each child to express their feelings and perspectives. So we guide them in finding a mutually agreeable solution and help them understand the impact of their choices on others. Like we have to listen from two sides, not only judging from, or maybe not making focus only in one side. Because such a things like that seems like easily, but it's difficult to implement it if we don't want to understand them. Next is play-based learning. I think the previous speakers already mentioned this thing, because we have to notice that play is a fundamental aspect of early childhood education, and we embrace its power to develop emotional intelligence, because through the play, the children have the opportunity to explore, express, and also develop their social and emotional skills. And for instance, in the dramatic play area, like children can take on different roles, like allowing them to experience empathy, practice communication, and negotiate with their peers. So play-based learning creates a joyful and engaging environment where children develop their emotional intelligence naturally. Next is cultural sensitivity. So in our diverse classroom, especially many international schools where the students pretty much from not only different cities, but probably different countries. So we celebrate and embrace different cultures, fostering cultural sensitivity and respect. So we incorporate books, music, and art from various backgrounds, exposing children to different traditions, languages, and also perspectives. So by encouraging children to share their cultural experience and engaging in discussion, we create inclusive environment where every child feels valued and appreciated. Next is parent and family engagement. Like I think the previous speakers already mentioned about it as well. We understand that the crucial role parents and families play in child emotional development is really important. So we can actively involve parents in their child education through regular communication, parent-teacher conferences, or even family engagement events. So we can provide research and workshop to support parents in understanding and nurturing their child's emotional well-being. So by doing this or fostering strong partnership with families, we can create a supportive network that reinforce emotional growth, both at home and in the classroom as well. And the last one is lifelong learning. So we instill a love for learning and curiosity from early age. So we can create an environment that encourages exploration, inquiry, and discovery. So we provide a variety of age-appropriate materials, books, and hands-on activity that sparks children's interest. So we can also celebrate their achievement and encourage them to see mistakes as opportunities for growth. And yeah, by fostering a love for learning, we lay the foundation for children to become lifelong learners, adaptable individuals, and also contributors for society. So dear educators, today I want to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible work you have done so far. And yeah, like educators guiding the laws in the life of young minds, shaping the future and making a profound impact on society. So your dedication, passion, and commitment to your students are truly, really inspiring. So the work you do today, or maybe what you have been doing, might not be easy, but yeah, I want you to remember that each child is unique with their own strengths, challenges, and untapped potential. So you have the privilege of unlocking that potential, like helping them discover their talents and passion. And yeah, your belief in their abilities can make all the difference in their journey of self-discovery. So yeah, to conclude my speech for today, I think early childhood care education plays a vital role in nurturing emotional intelligence. So by cultivating connection, promoting social and emotional learning, and creating inclusive and supportive emotional or environment, we can shape the emotional well-being and future success for the children. So let us embrace the incredible responsibility we have as educators, and as we strive to empower children to become compassionate. So thank you so much for listening. I'm giving back to Dr. Anjum.
Thank you, ma'am. That was really a very outstanding talk. And yes, as you started with the social and emotional learning, yes, of course, that is needed. And as you said that when we start teaching them, or when we start with the class, just ask, how are you? And I don't use it in the classes every day, but especially in the training sessions when I go, this is my first slide. I will be asking the students or the participants, how are you, or how are you feeling today? So that's really a great way to, to connect with the people. And like you were talking about the students at the very early age, that as our topic is, where you talked about emotional regulation, problem solving skills, and mindfulness for them, and relaxation. So this will actually, which I couldn't ever imagine that we can be implementing for children at such a young age. So it was really very informative, and thank you very much for joining and for such an outstanding presentation. And now I take this opportunity to invite our next speaker, Dr. Izioma Esther. Please take over the stage.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every one of you, depending on where you're watching me from. My name is Dr. Ijeoma Esther Nnamdi, and before I proceed, I would like to appreciate IDYM for putting up this wonderful event together. And thank you to the moderator, Dr. Anju, and each and every speaker that has spoken ahead of me. I'm happy to see you, Hadiana. That was a great speech. Yes. So let me go ahead to share my screen. Okay, we are looking at early childhood care, education, and research. What is early childhood? Early childhood, it's from the age of 2 to 6 years. Is a critical period in the development of the human potential. It is the period of the development of initiative and is also referred to as the preschool age. Now, when a child is born, the mind of the child is in a state of tabula rasa. It is empty, it is plain, nothing is in it. So this childhood age is the period where input and impact is being made in the brain of the child. That's why it is a very critical period in the development of the human potential, because however you raise the child, however you train the child, whatever you do at that stage, it sticks and it leaves an impact in the life of the child. It is also the questioning age, common way of exploring in early childhood by asking. A lot of children ask a lot of questions. They ask a lot of questions in this particular phase. Also, they are very imitative. Children learn by watching you. Children learn by mimicking what they see around them. So whatever they see at that moment, be it words spoken by adults, what is done by their peers, they easily imitate those things. It is also an age of creativity. A lot of children show more creativity in this very stage of their lives more than others. It is also a time where they showcase some physiological habits. During early childhood, these physiological habits, whose foundations were laid in babyhood, become well established. By the time the child is 3 or 4 years old, bladder control at night should be achieved. By the time the child is ready to enter school, bladder control should be so complete that even fatigue and emotional tension will not interfere with it. These are some of the physiological habits that a child within that particular stage should exhibit. Now let's look at the skills of early childhood. Early childhood is the ideal age to learn skills. First, young children enjoy repetition and are therefore willing to repeat an activity until they've acquired the ability to do it well. At this stage in their preschool, they are being taught nursery rhymes. They sing all day. You see them watching some educating content, some educating videos like CoComelon, singing some alphabet. So at this stage, they repeat whatever they listen to. They try to, internalize it through repetition. Secondly, young children are adventurous and as a result are not held ridiculed by peers as older children often are. At this particular stage, children are very adventurous. They want to explore. They want to learn. And they are not going to suffer any form of pressure among their peers because their peers are also like them, very, very willing to explore whatever that is around them. They want to understand their environment. They want to understand what is going on. So there is nothing like fear of being ridiculed by anyone, because unlike older children, like teens that may be afraid that if they make mistake, if they fall from that height, they will be laughed at, they will be laughed to scorn. Children are not going to worry about these things at this stage. So what are the importance of early childhood education? The first one is it enables brain development. During the early years, a child's brain develops rapidly, and the quality of experiences they have during this time can have a lasting impact on their cognitive, emotional, and social development. ECE provides a range of activities and experiences that stimulate a child's brain, such as reading, playing, and exploring their environment, like I've already explained. These experiences can help to develop a child's language, memory, and problem-solving skills. Remember, at this stage of their life, their brain doesn't have any impact. They don't know anything. So at this stage, they easily grasp whatever they hear. They build their language. You find out that when you say a word to a child and the child repeats it twice, it internalizes. You see the child talking about it. So this is how they build their vocabulary. This is how they learn their language. Also at this stage, this early childhood education enables socialization. It provides opportunities for children to interact with their peers and develop social skills such as sharing, taking turns, and cooperation. These skills are essential for success in later life as they help children to form positive relationships with others and navigate social situations. You know, we are in a very socialized world. As the world is getting more digitalized, we all discover that the world is now a global village. Right in the comfort of your home, you can reach every part of the world. You can interact with people. You can interact and communicate, network, collaborate, partner with people. Now, socialization should be built from an early stage, from the childhood age. And when a child is well socialized, when a child has learned these skills right from childhood, it helps the child through adulthood. It also enables the child to relate with people, to build great interpersonal skills. Another importance of early childhood education is emotional development. It can help children develop emotional regulation skills, such as the ability to identify and express their emotion in a healthy way. This is important because it can help children to manage stress and anxiety. It also helps them to build resilience. Emotional development is very important. The older the child gets, the more the child is supposed to have control of their emotion, and early childhood education helps to build this in a child. So quickly, the next one is academic achievement. Children who attend high quality early childhood education programs are more likely to perform better in school and have higher academic achievement later in life. Also, reduce crime rate and poverty. Early childhood education reduces crime and poverty by providing children with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in life. Children who attend high-quality ECE programs are less likely to engage in criminal behavior and more likely to become productive members of the society because they started learning early. So this is basically what helps us as individuals, and as parents, as global educators, we should enlighten more people to know what this is all about. Thank you so much once again, IDYM, for the opportunity, and thank you so much, Dr. Anjum, our moderator.
Thank you, ma'am, Dr. Isioma Esther. That was really a very great presentation. And as you said, of course, childhood, as we are talking about early childhood care, education, and research, of course, this is the age when actually it is a foundation where the children start learning. And you were talking about, yes, the children are very curious, they want to explore. And as an educator, as parents, it is our responsibility how we are able to cater their needs of, their curiosity and exploration that can be doing. And the most important point that you talked about is emotional development and resilience. That is very important because those emotional development, it should be developed at a very young age. Because yes, anything we talk about, the childhood education, it is a foundation of the lifelong learning. So thank you very much for joining with us, and thank you for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
And let's invite our next speaker, Anshumitra Banerjee, ma'am. Anshumitra, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening to the one who are in the part of my world, and for someone it's good morning, and for someone it's Good afternoon. So I must thank our passionate host, Anjuman ma'am, who is always, making us and organizing this. And wherever I go, I see Anjuman ma'am, she is organizing and she's hosting this event. So, ma'am, I just wanted to say that I have a small video. Before starting my slide, can I okay.
Yeah, go
Let's-
ahead. I think you can
Yes.
share the screen.
Yes. ma'am. I think it's visible.
Yes, it is visible. ma'am. But we cannot hear the sound. No sound is
Okay, thank you so much for listening this. Actually, this was a part of my classroom when I was taking the class, where I found that the children are busy in tearing the papers or from their notebooks or from their workbooks or wherever. So to stop that, my intention was there that let me see that how they do. So what we did, we got some newspapers, we gave it to them, and we made the children to tear the papers. We did it for 1 week. And luckily or miraculously, we have seen that they have started carrying their notebooks, their workbooks, and they were very much useful for them also. And we found our work also to be easy. So let me share my screen. Today's topic is all about our early childhood care. And education. So, yeah. So these are the topics or the agendas which we are going to go through. Now, most of our, eminent speaker, they have spoken all about the early childhood thing and about their, work and how we should do it and how should we carry on. So I just wanted to say that our national curriculum or pedagogy framework for early childhood care and education, they have the NCERT 2020, they have done the framework in 2 sub-framework. One is from the year 0 to 3, another one is from the year 3 to 8 years old, and where the kids are going to learn about the human potentiality and they are going to develop their initiatives also. So as we know that most of the children, they by the age of 6 to 8 years, their brain developed from 85 to 90%. And what it happens, and ECCA, it takes care for those kind of children's social, emotional, cognitive, and physical development, which they are going to have it for a lifelong learning, and well-being will be there for them. So these are the things which are more important for us. Now let me go and tell you the needs. So what are the needs and how can we help them? So the needs are, everything is needed. They need the physical need, they need the emotional need, and there is a need of social needs also. Like physical need, when we go to from certain kids, we can find that even the physical need of fooding them, they can't eat properly, their clothing, their cleanliness, the protection and the play should be there. And what about the needs of their emotional? We have to nurture them with a lot of security, love, care, and hope. And what are the social need we have to give? We have to make them to interact with everyone and make them to play wherever, give them the opportunity to play wherever they need. So these are the things we have to take care in this. Other than that, we have the psychological need. What are the psychological needs? We have to make them to learn by their self-learner. They have to be positive in the self-esteem. And what are the cognitive things we can do for them? We can read storybooks. Storybooks is the place where, a kid, they learn to communicate. Their language skills, it develops. They try to speak. They get to know more words, and even they sometimes find the cognitive development we can find when the child is in a playful mode. Now, most of my eminent speaker, they have spoken about most of about these criteria, but I would like to go with the teachers of the AECCE, where a teacher should be having an organized classroom and the creating of the learning material should be there. There should be a bulletin board and a communication with the parents should be there. And when we do all these things together and with a lot of activities, we can find our child, they are growing and in a positive way and the way we need them to grow ahead. And this also have some effect. So what are the? They are going to have a good habits, and not only there, they will have a social and emotional resolution. And not only there, they will be successfully. They will be, learning in a future, and their learning should be love learning and a lifelong learning should be there. Now, what are the aims? When we have something, we should have some aims, right? During this time, we have to, ensure that the child is having a good balance, nutrition. And not only there, they should be sound in developing language. And we know our ma'am, she has already spoken of learning different type of a language where we can, easily get a good social skills and communication, and we should know how to express ourselves. And when we do all this, what our child is going to do, and we should have a foster sensory movement also, where a child will know that how they are stimulating their work or how they are stimulating their activities and where they are, participating and how we are going to engage this kind of all our kids who are our future generation and who are going to be there for the society another more years to come. And when we do all this, we can easily reach the 21st education goal. The challenges, we have many challenges, few of the challenges which I have, pointed out. One is the scarcity of our resources. Most of us, we will be knowing that sometime for future, each children are different and each children's learning process is different. So sometimes we go lack of resources also. Suppose a particular child who is good in board game, but he is good in visualization or in outdoor game or in other things. At one time, we won't be able to access the resource for everyone. We go with one by one. So next is lack of training. And we need a very, our early childhood teachers, they should be trained properly and they should know how to deal with those age groups and no parental engagement. Nowadays, parents are so much busy in many ways. We know even we are parents, sometimes we also feel that we are not giving a proper time to our child. So now how the solution can come? We should have a passionate trained teacher. A passionate trained teacher who will easily, see that how to create the environment, how to provide the access to the child, and how to offer them more options. If we have more option for a child, that is going to benefit them in exploring ahead. Then we need to have an encouraging communication. They should come and they should ask help for whatever they needed. Then, and we should, being a teacher, we should focus on their interest, what they want. And initially, again, we have to communicate with the parents, and we have to tell them to give a parent time for the child. Here the problem lies along. How we can have a Father's Day, Mother's Day, Grandparents' Day, Family Day. So all this day when we do, a child also comes to know, and even we make our parent to think that you are responsible for this particular child to come in this world. And it is your responsibility to take over them and to be with them. When we do all these things and we bring a very strong well-being for these small kids. So I would like to tell you about the 3 R's. So after doing the researches and all, there are 3 R's for our early childhood care and education. What are those 3 R's? Relationships, repetition, and the routine. When you have a good relationship, you can easily do the work, the daily work, which you can have to repeat. So what are the repetition? You have to come, get up early in the morning, you have to do your work. Ultimately, it becomes a routine for that child. When you have all these 3 R's with you, it is the place where the import you are going to bring and learn, make the child learn addition and what they have learned. We should have to communicate with the child, not only as a teacher, as an auntie, as a parent, as a family member, and as our neighbor, whatever we want. So thank you for listening me. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot, ma'am. That was really, a very great presentation because, of course,
Thank you.
and I know you are on medication as you told, but still you could speak for so long. That's really great. Because although you had some health issues, I think, but still, you could carry out the presentation very well. And of course, as you said, yes, this is a critical period of development where we have to, cope with their psychological, emotional, and cognitive needs, of course. And the most beautiful thing that you talked about was the 3 R's: relationship, repetition, and routine. So obviously it should be there. And yes, the teachers, when we are talking about early childhood education, the parents and the teachers, they have a very, very important role. And yes, parents' involvement should be there. The parents' involvement is there most of the times at the early age. But yes, of course, as you talked about teachers, yes, and where the teachers need to be trained, as you said. And with this, of course, we can be, making our childhood education more effective. So thank you for sharing your knowledge, and thank you for saying. And with this, I would like to call upon our next speaker, Dr. Revati Rautrao.
Thank you so much, Anjuman Krishna. Then Dr. Ravishankar Kumar sir. Okay, sir, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to all of you. So today we are exploring the benefits of early childhood education and how it can help close the achievement gap for children from low-income families. So early childhood education is a crucial aspect of child's development, and it lays the foundation for their future academic, social, and emotional success. Here, children who receive quality early childhood education are more likely to graduate high school, attend after that college, and have higher paying jobs. So early childhood education research is a field of study that examines the cognitive, social, and emotional development of the young children. The mom also focus the same. And in addition, early childhood education, so here research can help to identify and address the disparities in access to the high quality education and resources. So by understanding the unique needs and challenges faced by different groups of children, researchers also can work to create a more equitable opportunities for all the young learners. So we are here exploring that early building strong foundations. It is for the power of early childhood education research. With that, the future of early childhood education and research. So it is very important for the educators and researchers too to stay up to date with the latest findings and the best of practices in this field. In addition, it is also important for the policymakers to prioritize early childhood education and invest in programs that support the quality learning experiences for all children. And by doing so, we can help ensure that every child has the opportunity to reach their full potential. With this, the importance of early childhood education is also important. So it has a significant impact on a child's development and their future. So researchers also shown that children who receive the quality early childhood education are more likely to perform well academically and have better social skills and experience fewer behavioral problems. With this, early childhood education can help to bridge the achievement gap between the children from different socio-economic backgrounds by providing equal opportunities for learning and development. Early childhood education and improve the Which is the role of the play in the early childhood education. So play is an essential component of early childhood education. Through play, child learn important social and emotional skills such as cooperation, communication, and problem solving. So this role play also helps children develop their creativity, their imagination, and the physical abilities too. And research also shown that the play-based learning can be just as effective, if not more than traditional academic instructions in the early years. So therefore, it is important for the educators to incorporate play into their curriculum and provide children with ample opportunities for exploration and discoveries. Of course, the benefits of parental involvement in early childhood is also important. So education, parental involvement is crucial in early childhood education. When parents are actively involved in their child's education, and it can lead to better academic performance. It also improves the behavior, also increase the motivation to learn. So educators can also encourage the parental involvement by providing opportunities for parents to volunteer in the classroom, attend parent-teacher conferences also, and participate in the school events. So the importance of the early literacy development is critical in preparing the children for academic success. And research has shown that children who are exposed to language and literacy at an early age are more likely to develop strong reading and writing skills later on. Therefore, it is important for the educators to provide the children with a rich literacy environment that includes exposure to books, storytelling, and writing activities. And parents can also support their child's literacy development by reading aloud to them, engaging in the conversation, and providing access to a variety of reading materials. Of course, the impact of technology is also important for the early childhood education, because technology has become increasingly prevalent in the early childhood education. While technology can offer many benefits, such as enhancing the learning experiences and promoting the digital literacy. So it is important for the educators to use the technology in a thoughtful and intentional way. Research has also shown that excessive screen time can have negative effect on a child's development, including decreased attention span and delayed language acquisition. So therefore, it is important for the educators to balance the use of technology with other forms of learning and play-based activities. So the future of early childhood education and research, as our understanding of early childhood development, it continues to evolve. So it will means it is important for the educators and the researchers also to stay up to date with the latest findings and best practices in the field. So by doing so, we can help ensure that every child has the opportunity to reach their full potential. So brain development is also there during the first few years of life. A child brain is rapidly developing, and early childhood education provides the necessary stimulation and experiences to support this development. And activities such as reading, singing, and playing help to strengthen neural connections and promote the cognitive. Then, as ma'am also said, that the cognitive, language, and the social emotional skills. So socialization is also done by early childhood education, also play a critical role in a child's socialization. So it provides the opportunity for children to interact with peers and develop important social skills such as sharing, taking turns, and problem solving. Through play and structured activities, children also learn to regulate their emotions and behaviors with which sets the foundation for positive relationship and the successful interactions later in their life. Then parental involvement really is very important. So this collaboration helps to create a supportive and the nurturing environment for the child. Parents can reinforce what their child is learning in the classroom and provide the additional opportunities for learning and exploration at home too. So investing in the early childhood education not only benefits the individual children and families, but also has economic benefits for society as a whole. So research has also shown that every dollar invested in a quality early childhood education can result up to $7 in future saving through reduce the cost associated with crime, welfare, and the health care. So, of course, there are many challenges in the early childhood education research. So, one major challenge is the difficulty in conducting research with very young children who may not be able to communicate effectively or follow some instructions. So, creative method to gather the data from the young children, such as through play-based activities or parent interview. Another challenge is that the need it is the need to ensure that research findings are translated into practice and policy. Then so these are the challenges, but we have to know what are the current trends in early childhood education research. So one current trend in early childhood education research is the growing focus on cultural competence and the diversity. Another trend is the increasing use of technology in the early childhood education. So researchers are studying the potential benefits and risks of using the technology in the classroom, as well as exploring new ways to use the digital tools to support the young children's learning. Of course, one of the most significant trends in the early childhood education research is the emphasis on play-based learning. So studies have shown that children learn best through hands-on experiences and exploration, and many provides an excellent opportunity for them to do so. So in addition to promoting the creativity and the imagination, play-based learning also helps children development important skills such as problem-solving, communication, and the collaborations. So as technology continues to play an increasing important role in the lives, it is also becoming more prevalent in early childhood education. However, it is essential to ensure that technology use is developmentally appropriate and does not replace hands-on experiential learning opportunities. Uh, then, in addition to the academic skills, early childhood education also focuses on promoting the social and the emotional development. So, some of the key components of social emotional learning include the self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and relationship building. So by investing high quality early childhood education programs and ensuring that all children have equal access, so we can help create a brighter future for our children and our society. So through ongoing evaluation and the assessment, we can continue to improve early childhood education program, and we can also ensure that they are meeting the needs of all children. So together, we can work towards a more equitable and just society where every children has the opportunity to reach their full potential. And conclusion is in conclusion, early childhood education is a critical component of a child's development. So it provides the necessary foundation for the future academic, social, and the emotional success. So investing in quality early childhood education not only benefits individual children and families, but also has long-term economic benefits for a society as a whole. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And thank you, ma'am, for such a wonderful talk. Because like me, like I am working in an engineering college, and even you are working in a higher education institute, and we are every day we are dealing with adults, we can say. the students that we are having. Despite of that, you were speaking so well about early childhood education, how we can care about them and how we can take different steps to educate the children at a very small age. So that was really a great talk, because even I have joined as a professor in engineering college. I have officially I don't have any such experience, but still like unofficially I can say how I have handled some of the students when I was studying in a college. I used to teach some kids near my house. I used to teach them from they were in UKG, LKG and all that. So I have a little bit of experience, but still I can't speak so much if I'm given a chance. That was really a great talk, and especially because I know that you work in an higher education institute, and still that was really great talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And yes, let's call upon our next speaker, Dr. Sharda Chakravarti, ma'am. I know she has joined right from the beginning. Dr. Sharda, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Okay.
know you are there right from the beginning.
Yeah, actually, I was a little busy with my daughter's exam also, but I made it a point that I'll join. Okay. Good evening, everybody present here, and to our lovely host Anjum ma'am, always smiling and encouraging each one of us to speak and to speak for our passion. We are all passionate people who have joined today, and today I'm going to present my screen. And thank you, Ravi sir, for this wonderful opportunity. Always a good topic for all of us. So now today's topic is like I have chosen on emotional growth in early childhood, building the foundation for well-being. So this is my presentation for today. I am Dr. Sharda Chakravarti, educator and also an AIEF Global Ambassador. So when we talk about the emotional growth, it's an integral part of a child development, impacting their mental health. We all are talking about the mental health and impacting their social interaction and future success. And in this presentation, we will examine like what are the key factors influencing emotional growth, the stages of emotional development and strategies to foster emotional intelligence, self-awareness, empathy, and some social skills, along with few examples and with little bit of my research. So when we talk about the emotional growth, so it refers to the development of emotional intelligence, about the self-awareness and regulation. And it plays a crucial role in shaping a child's ability to understand and manage their emotions effectively. See, we all know if a child has a very good when the child is young, if like during his development age, if is emotionally balanced. And there was so many research done by so many researchers that a child whose emotional growth is up to the mark in the growing stage, they were more productive citizen. And this was also proven by a marshmallow experiment, which I'm not going to discuss here. So this emotional growth during the early childhood is very important, because this is the building block for lifelong emotional well-being. If the child has got very harassing childhood, then of course when he grows up, there will be an impact, a strong impact. And on the other hand, a child with a very nice emotional development, love, affection from the family, parents, teachers, everywhere, the child will grow in a very different way, which will, of course, be productive. So what is the importance of emotional growth? It promotes self-awareness. The child becomes aware about himself or herself and self-regulation, how to regulate, how to be balanced in the emotions. And emotional competence supports positive relationship with peers and adults. You can also see in your classroom whether the child is younger, teaching, even if you are teaching a KG or LKG student, or if you are teaching a senior students like Anjum ma'am and Revati ma'am, and many other who are dealing with the senior students. For me, it's a mixed one. Like I am basically a senior school teacher, but when I go to my junior sections, I really love to interact and tell them add some good values. And when they go home, because our children are very logical, we have to give them logics about everything. Then only they are going to accept you. So in this way, their cognitive development, their learning abilities, they grow, because if they are emotionally stable, they are secure, they are loved, they know even if they are doing some mistake, the parents or the teachers or in the wherever in the society they are living, they will look them at with empathy. So in this way, an emotional resilience helps children cope with stress and challenges. They are not stressed about what will happen. They are very happy and they know like they will be understood. So now when we move to the next slide, that is emotional milestones in early childhood, like identifying and labeling basic emotions like joy, sadness, anger. These are the basic emotions when they come out of their house and when they go to the school, meet their friends, new children, new school, new children, new friends, new teachers. Now they understand, like, what are the emotions, how they are labeled, and also developing empathy and understanding others' feeling. If like one of the student has forgot his crayons or any clay, molding clay, so how they can share with them and how they can be empathetic with the other kid. Regulating emotions through self-soothing and coping strategies, like someone, if like you don't even want sometimes to give children, they don't want to share, but if the other child doesn't understand, so what happens, the child may start crying or start showing tantrums. So now how they can regulate their emotions, how to self-soothe and coping with the strategies, and expressing emotions appropriately, either through language or their non-verbal cues. Because mostly the children, when they are in their early age, they show their love, their emotions with their non-verbal cues by using their hands, legs, or facial expressions, etc. So now when we talk about the factors influencing emotional growth, so they are actually their parents. Of course, the parents, if they are bad-tempered, or the caregiver who is looking after the child at home, so they are very, very important in the child's life, and how they respond and how they support. So this factor influences emotional growth of the child. And secure attachments and consistent nurturing relationship, the relationship of their parents, their elders, like their grandparents, how it is. So it always reflects, and the child understands like how to behave with the elders, how to behave with the domestic helpers, and all those things. Opportunities for social interaction and peer relationship, how, like, in the society, they're interacting in their buildings or in their friend circle, whatever they are having, their peers. So this also influences, like someone is nagging, always disturbing the child, always irritating, the child will, of course, show the different type of emotion. And the one who is giving love and understanding and being empathetic, the child's emotional growth will be of different type. As we have seen in many movies, the two identical kids staying different apart from each other, growing in different families, their emotional patterns is different, though genetically they are same, but the environment affects their emotional growth. A safe and stimulating environment that encourage exploration, freedom to express themselves. So when the child is suppressed, always not encouraged, his frustration will come out. And of course, it will be seen on someone, somewhere. So now, what are the strategies to support emotional growth? Of course, promote emotional vocabulary and encourage children to express their feeling. They should be not only, like that day when I was taking a webinar on classroom management, the teachers, they did not have enough word for encouragement, but they had more than enough words to complain about a child, or the negative comments, I should rather say. So they got short of encouraging words. So you must look on the, encouraging your children, they express their feelings, and you should promote emotional vocabulary. Like these are the emotions, good emotions, not good. And you should, just control. It's not all emotions are good, but they should be they should be in control. Create a safe and supportive environment for emotional exploration. Like, for example, a child is showing a tantrum in front of the strangers. So maybe they will not look that particular incident with the empathetic way, in the empathetic way. But the parents and the close members, family members, they know, like, this can be done and how we can help him to come back from the situation. Model and teach. It's not that, you also do many things, like when you are angry, try to do this, deep breathing, and the child will understand, like, if I lose my emotions, if it goes into a negative way, I can take deep breathing or counting to 10. Like, I close my fist, I do this, just keep on pressing my fingers. If I get very, very angry sometimes, it may be, there can be a trigger at home, there can be a trigger in the school. Anyway, the triggers are there, or in the society also. So whenever I feel like I'm getting triggered, so I have learned this Japanese technique of just pressing my fingers. I learned it from some an educator who was teaching all these beautiful tips. So now, if like you do it, the child will also follow it. Foster positive social interaction and teach empathy through role playing, storytelling. Like, I used to teach many stories to my kids, and whenever I go to like junior classes, I tell them stories from my own experiences, like my stories from my hostel life, stories from my college life, stories where I was not able to express, an introvert person, and how I was always demotivated, never motivated to speak. So I always tell them, and because of this motivation, my children, they are very good at stage. My parents could not foster this quality on me, but all the shortcomings which I had, I tried to overshadow my own limitations and kept on teaching my children, and they are the leaders. So in this way, we can express our this thing. We can increase the emotional growth in our kids. So the parents, the caregivers, the educators, you all are very, very important. A great means one of the important stakeholder in the development of a child. So now when we talk about the emotional intelligence in the early stage, it is defined as the ability to recognize, understand, and manage one's own emotions and emotions of others. Just don't be, the child should not be taught like, you are free to express your emotions, yes, but also respect the emotions of others. And how, if you do it, then what will happen? There will be a conflict resolution. You can say the other person or the child will not get triggered by your emotional behavior or with your intentions. So in this way, you can also tell them like it helps in the social skills, you will be more lovable. And if you are going to control, and if you are going to use all these strategies. So, but there are challenges. The child sometimes outbursts, they show tantrums, and it is very difficult in understanding, expressing complex emotions. Sometimes they are showing so much of different type of emotions together. So sometimes it's very challenging. Provide strategies and support for overcoming these challenges. We should establish consistent routines and clear expectations. Like, if you are not going to behave like this, my dear, I'm not going to give you the thing which you really wanted. So you have to show us control emotional behavior, practice patience, active listening. A child should be a good listener. Even we all should be a good listener in order to avoid all the conflicts. And if you are not able to handle, you should take some professional help. It's not a big issue. You should go and take some professional help when needed. And emotional resilience is very important because it is ability to bounce back from adversity. We have all done it ourselves many times. We are very low. Just now, ma'am told Anshumitra ma'am was not well, but she bounced back and she gave such a beautiful presentation, and where she showed us the beautiful video. So this and the role of supporting relationship, problem solving, and all this thing, they help in developing resilience. So school curriculum, of course, it should be, we have already talked about the curriculum. Anshumitra ma'am has told about how NEP is focusing, so I will not go here. And we should actually try to reinforce the significance of emotional growth in early childhood for long-term well-being. We should encourage parents, caregivers, and educators to prioritize emotional development and provide the necessary support, because the child is mostly with their parents or the caregivers, or apart from that in the school. So we should help them, and we should also emphasize on the long benefit. If a child is emotionally healthy, the child will turn up into a healthy individual. But a child with a very traumatized childhood, so they are not good. They are not good for themselves also. They sometimes hurt themselves and oneself also. So we should know about this, and in this way, the emotional growth is very important. Developing, self-awareness, like the child should start identify happiness, sadness, anger, and in this way, building empathy and social skills are also very, very important. These points, and there are many research done by Denham and colleagues, that they found that children who had higher emotional competency preschool demonstrated better social and academic skills. And Valenti and colleagues, they also showed that 150 in their studies that early childhood predicted positive outcomes, the one with good emotional competencies. And Razor and Nitzer, they have all, you can see with these are the very recent ones. So you can understand how the intelligence, how the emotional balance or emotional growth is very, very important. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. That was really a great presentation again. And as you were talking about emotional needs, the emotional growth, the emotional development at an early age. And of course, as we have been discussing since we have started with the conference, yes, it is very important. We have to work. Sometimes we think that we have to work on the emotional regulation or managing of the emotions after we grow up. We have to start it from the childhood, because it is the time which has the actual impact on the brains of the child. He just adapts to it. He just sees, he feels, and he changes his behavior according to that. So yes, emotional regulation, emotional intelligence during the childhood age is very important. That was a very great presentation, very informative, full with lots of knowledge. So thank you for joining, and thank you for the great presentation. And I can see Dr. Emmanuel has joined with us. Yes, Dr. Emmanuel. I request Dr. Emmanuel to please speak. Dr. Emmanuel, are you able to hear me? Dr. Emmanuel, are you able to hear me? Okay. I think he has some network issues, is not able to listen to me. Is anyone else present in the meeting who would like to speak? Gurpreet Mathur, ma'am, or Emmanuel, sir. Anyone who would like to speak? Yes, Gurpreet ma'am is there. Yes, Gurpreet ma'am, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. I was waiting for 2 hours now. And well, ma'am, I want to share screen. Am I allowed?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So the topic today is early childhood care and education. All eminent speakers, they have spoken wonderfully well on all the issues, on all the key points. And of course, many suggestive things as well, like, what should be taken up and how we should deal with the young learners. It is said that education begins the moment we see children as insanely wise and capable beings. When we start believing that they are capable, they can do, so they are ready for learning. This should be assumed. And there are a number of, quotes made out by the scholars, eminent scholars, who have said that the child is like a clean slate. Whatever we write on his impressionable mind, that goes a long way. I feel that the children are not things to be molded, but are people to be unfolded. They have huge potential. They have so many things, in themselves. So they want to speak so much. They want to explore so much. They want to learn so much. Only if we are able to listen to them, to their curious brain, to their curious tongues, they are capable of doing much more. So it has been assumed that play is the shortest route between children and their creative calling. And we should give them all the opportunities possible. Shortly, as it is spoken, ECCE. It is a term which comprises of 3 key elements, and 4th one added now: early childhood, care, education, and of course, research. Research on the areas of childhood education and care where we need to put our stress on, expertise on. So earlier it was childhood was a period from birth to 6 years. Now NEP 2020 says it is 0 to 8 years. They have taken 2 foundational years levels, where they have written down 3 plus 5, so it comes out to be 8. So as per the national policy on ECC 2013, there are specific sub-stages of early years, and we can say that it is from conception to birth, birth to 3 years, and 3 to 6 years. That the child is very smart the moment he is able to understand who his mother or father is able to, of course, work on many other areas. If we talk about, that is, he is able to understand who are the people who are basically there to help him. And that is why the system of preschools, nursery schools came into force. It was assumed that, if the children will be left with the same age group, right? If they will be with their peers, they'll be able to learn much better, much faster. And it has been seen that some children who do not speak at all, when they are left with their age group, with their peers, they start speaking, because child is the biggest imitator and tries to imitate everything, whatever comes his way. So childhood is the most important phase, which helps and which is basically designated as rapid growth and development time. And by care, we mean that we have to provide love, affection, ensuring a healthy, hygienic, protective, and stimulating environment for all our children. Now, if we provide regular health interventions to the children, there are different kinds of immunization programs. It is prenatal, postnatal, where mother and the child, they all go through. And time to time, it is booster doses and other protective, booster, this immunization from diseases that, sets the pace for a child for a healthy development physically. So if the child has to be taken care of, protected from physical environment, from emotionally safe environment, so we have to provide him secure, protecting environment. And this is what the child for this age, they need for their optimum growth and healthy development. It is also very essential for caregivers to ensure psychological and socio-emotional needs of the children. That the child at times, starts becoming self-aware. He is able to self-manage. At times, if the child feels that he has not done anything wrong, and if we tell him that in the presence of many people, you say sorry to the, in the class, that the child doesn't come up, he doesn't say sorry. I remember an incident where the child was only 3+, and I said, why you are not saying sorry when you spilled water? So the child said that I did not do it. It is auntie, it is nanny who did it, right? And he says, I'll not say sorry. He was very socially aware. He knew, he understood, what his position is, and, how he has to react on certain areas. Now, as we talk about childhood education, child education, this is the process of acquiring knowledge, skills, attitudes, values. This is possible only through exploration, experimentation, participation, and interaction. If the child is, as the earlier speakers have spoken, if the children are given, assurance, moral support, and they are guided, they will open up. If they'll feel safe and secure, and they will be, they will be taken care of, they'll be able to grow faster, they'll be able to express better, will be able to speak better. So the children, it should be made available. The children have a lot of interaction with the caregivers, teacher, mother, family, or the same age group, and are given responsibility. They are made independent, They should not be spoon-fed for a long time. The children these days, they want to be independent from the very early age. And when we give such kind of experiences to the children to learn, to grow, so they start appreciating and understanding the world around them. When we talk about many developments, we talk about social development. It is the process of acquiring social norms and cultural values, right? That the child is able to see to it what is acceptable. Family tells him that you go ahead, okay, do it. The family says, no, 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 don't do it. That the child is able to understand from the surroundings that he should, proceed or not. Able to see, observe everything. Likewise, emotional development refers to the development of different emotions and feeling in children, which are actually, these are basic emotions which they are born up with, but by and by they cultivate it. They know that they are proud, they are angry, worried, happy, sad, disgusted, excited, confused. So they are able to understand. Now, if we talk about the developmental stages, I believe that cognitive development is very, very important development because it refers to the development of the mental or cognitive abilities, such as abilities to think, to remember, to recognize, to imagine, and to take decisions. And we have seen that if the child sees that it is a step, and he knows that he cannot climb it or he cannot jump from it, he stands there, thinks about it. I've seen many children like this because I'm director of one of the schools. So I keep on observing the children of different age groups. And I've seen that, they take decision that whether they'll be able to scale it up or down, then only they jump. And they are able to recognize numbers, they are able to recognize activities which are repeated with them time and again. And then is the language development. It is the process of acquiring, understanding and using language. It has been seen sometimes, the family speaks a particular language, but the nannies who are attending upon the children, they are using different languages. And children, they pick up the ones, which they spend most of the time with. And if they're spending more time as the mothers are working, the parents are working, so they develop the language of the nanny. So it is that means they get a lot of stimulant from the environment. And these skills help children to communicate with others and to express their feelings. Now, if we talk about sensory and perceptual development, that is, they are able to sight, they are able to hear, feel, taste, smell. And if we guide their movements and help them recognize, they are able to do it very fast. So the moment the child goes near the fire, we say that, no, don't. And at times, the child ignores and keeps on moving. But the moment he gets the heat of it from the area, is able to understand that this is this, and he has not to go near that. And that creates a lot of awareness to the child, because if there is awareness of space and direction, distance, quantity, etc., that the child is able to understand, able to see, smell, appreciate, and take decisions. Now, there are many such programs, from birth to 3 years, if we talk about, we continuously talk about their survival, safety, protection, and psychosocial stimulation in the early areas. But from 3 to 6 years, we are more concerned to protect them from different hazards, healthcare, nutrition, attachment to any adult, right? Developmental behavior, appropriate play-based preschool education, which is structured. And if it is, the child is able to develop happiness there, so it is considered to be a planned school readiness with component for which he has to get education further. And ECCE always aims that the child should feel safe, secure, accepted and respected, and so that he gives the same, And children should be given good and balanced nutrition. There should be inculcation of healthy habits, hygiene practices, Nowadays, after COVID times, the school has made it a compulsory practice, to tell the children how to wash hands, and that is hand washing activities, brushing activities, and many different kind of skills. The children are unable to understand sounds. So sound language, development, skills, communication. So research shows that if the child is taught with the quality, lot of exposure in the early learning, then his ECD program, that is Early Childhood Development Program, helps him to reduce the chances of dropouts. And the children are able to, do much better later on. And in 2013, this policy, that is ECC, has it has been recognized, and the people have started even investing a lot on this. Earlier, there were a huge number of dropouts from different states of India, especially if we talk about Uttar Pradesh, but now there is nothing of the set. The preschools, Anganwadis, Shishu Vatikas, these are the different, areas of development by the government, by the Ministry of Education, who have all realized on, who have worked on national education policy, where schooling begins with the inclusion of ECC from the age of 3. Earlier, children were sent at whatever age, but now it is very compulsory for the children to take them from the age of 3 years for further program. So if we, hello?
Yes, ma'am.
I think some problem has cropped up with my presentation.
Have you finished? I think you have finished with the presentation.
No, there were certain research areas also I wanted to speak on, but I think, some kind of problem. So I basically wanted to talk about those areas where I wanted to talk that these days there is a lot of, can I speak like this without presentation now?
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am. It's okay. You can go on.
So, as we have seen that now new research for new education policy has come, so there are many areas of research which has been seen, especially that the children, they develop reading, writing habits very late. And so lot of stress on phonetics is being given. So this is also one of the research topics, that in early childhood, the children should be made to recognize the sounds so that they are able to read well. Because foundational literacy and numeracy is like all talking about it, that the children should be able to understand the sounds, and then they are able to speak, right? So if we talk about research on early childhood education, it is policy in recognition of the importance of investing in early childhood development that EC has said that since it has to be the lifelong learning, and the children, it will make the foundation for the higher education, so that there should be a lot of opportunities, exposures, and areas given, so that children can practice, and it should be experiential learning in the schools. Survey has indicated high level of enrollment. Almost 8 out of 10 children from 6 to 3 years are now enrolled, and they are able to keep well, why? Because they are able to focus on those areas. Now, happy schooling is also one of the emerging trends which Delhi's government has developed. Happy classrooms, where the teacher, the moment she comes to the class, she interacts with the children, on a informal note, talking about how are you doing, and then waits for the response that the child speaks. And later on, at the end of the day, when the children are going, they are given some takeaway in the form of a smiley or friendship band or something like, and they are given stars on their hands or some these kind of things. So they feel happy, they want to come back. And now there are many channels. We have seen earlier also, one of the speaker had spoken that it is CoComelon, which is working a lot on the phonetics, on the value building system, why the children should listen to their parents and what kind of values should be adopted by them. And it is, of course, reoccurrence of all those habits which parents, they not only tell the children to do, but demonstrate. So they take them along with, and then they do, like if we talk about brushing or taking care of the pets at home or taking care of the elders at home. So the children are very good imitators. They are able to imitate, they are able to see what the elders are doing. So they want to do the same thing. And now there are the areas of research. It is, of course, because the children are exposed to technology, like anything, right from the years 2, the parents give the mobiles to the children to see and watch the different characters, stories, and plays, like nursery rhymes. So it definitely casts a very strong impact on their eye muscles, on exposure to the different kind of radiation. So it is topic of research whether or not the children should be exposed to technology at this early age, or what is an alternative if we do not let them know about it in the era of technology. So it is another thing. And then another thing, which is coming up is that if the children are excluded, as many schools are doing it, they are excluded from the senior children on the basis of this thing, fear of this thing, that there should not be any kind of sexual abuse or something like. So then the children at times are deprived of the care of their elders, who give them kind of parental care. So it is again, like the nursery schools or primary education should be housed in a different building, or it should be with the same area. What should be, so it is again, and of course, children's trend towards eating unhealthy things, and food and nutrition, how and what should be done, how the caretakers should be guided time and again. There should be different orientation programs for the parents, so that they understand what is the school trying to do, what the government is trying to do, and why it is important that the children should be nourished for proper particular things. So if we talk about all these things, if we talk about all these cares in the primary area and give them colorful classrooms, inviting classrooms, or gardens, where there is natural environment, the children will learn faster. They'll be closer to the nature. There are many splash pool activities going on, garden activities, sowing, germination. It starts right from the beginning, as soon as, small as 3 years of the child. And the children are given the plants in their care, that they have to nurture them. So they tell their mothers that we have to water them, and we have to put some kind of manure in them from time to time, and they see them grow. So this is sensitizing towards building good habits, values, because the children are the ambassadors of change. They belong to the future, and the environment is also degrading like anything. So they have to be sensitized for everything. But of course, with lot of wisdom, care, and love, with lot of support, and they should be allowed to experiment, to explore, so that there is no hampering in their esteemed personality. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. And it was really a very great presentation. And as you were talking about, yes, childhood care, education, and right from the birth, we are not just talking about like the school education, right from the birth, the education of the child is starting from the home. And of course, we learn from the home. Obviously, we say mother is the first teacher, the home is the first school, and they start learning. We were telling them, okay, you do this, you don't do that, and all. But what they do is they follow what we are doing in front of them. So yes, of course, that was a very great concept brought onto you. And of course, you discussed about how NEP is changing and how the education system will be changing in India through NEP. So that was really great inputs coming up from you. And thank you for joining. And yes, I could say your experience that it was speaking. It was not just a presentation, but you it was your shared experiences that really great to
Thank you.
know about you and know about your experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is anyone else, anyone who would like to speak? I can see a few people. Anyone who would like to speak? Okay. I think all of you, all the speakers have finished, but I can still see one or two people who are there. But once again, I just request if anyone in the meeting who have not spoken, who would like to speak, are welcome. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of the conference, and yes, of course, it was a very great conference where we have been discussing right from the first speaker to the last speaker that we had today. We had speakers from different countries, and of course, we learned a lot about, we shared and we learned from each other a lot about early childhood care and education. Yes, because this is the stage, early childhood, that sometimes we don't we just don't care. Okay, but this is the stage which paves the foundation for the lifelong learning, which paves the foundation for the formal learning in schools. And yes, the speakers, they talked about the emotional needs of the people, of the children, the cognitive, psychological, physical needs, balanced nutrition. I think everything was covered, and it was really a great conference. And thank you to all the speakers for joining, and all the speakers today have done really a great job. And of course, I would like to thank the organizer, Ravi Shankar sir, the founder of ITYM Foundation, who keeps on thinking about unique ideas. And of course, not just unique ideas, these ideas are the ones which becomes a platform for sharing lots of knowledge with the entire world. I also thank Zenith ma'am and Danu Lasmi, our young CEO, who have been working tirelessly for making all our events successful. And thank you one and all associated with this conference. And please stay tuned with us and wait for more such conferences on ITYM India TV. Thank you very much.